scheduled an evaluation for the former Dallas Cowboys receiver, and if they like what they see, they're going to sign him to their practice squad, sources confirmed to our Ed Werder. Bryant hasn't played in an NFL game since December of 2017. Ryan Clark back with us. Stephen A., would Dez Bryant signing a deal with the Ravens mean anything for him?
Listen, whether it'll mean anything for them remains to be seen, because we haven't seen him in a few years. The last time he played was 2017. That means 2018, 2019, and now 6 games into 2020. It's been 2.5 years, so we understand that we don't know. What I would tell you is that I would love for him to be on an NFL roster. I would love for him to make it, because here's the deal. He was once a star in this league. He obviously fell off a little bit, and then he got let go by the Dallas Cowboys. And what really rakes my nerves about it is that he got a bad rap. Now, we know he tried to come back with New Orleans, and then he got hurt, and we get all of that. But my big issue was that it wasn't just about football with him. He was perceived as problematic. And the Dallas Cowboys contributed, obviously, to letting that kind of stuff leak out about him. And that's what rubbed me the wrong way. So if you're somebody that you're spectating the Dallas Cowboys, it's 2 extremes. Okay, so we got a guy in Dak Prescott that's the model citizen, can ball, took you to the playoffs a couple of times, won a playoff game for you, had numbers comparable to Tony Romo, but somehow, some way, you couldn't reach an accord with him. And granted, you offered him a boatload of money, but he wanted less years. You wanted to lock him up for more years. Bottom line is you couldn't reach an accord with him. So that was a reason for that not to work out in his favor on a long-term basis. And in the case of Dez Bryant, he got some money as a wide receiver, but in the same breath, he wasn't, he was perceived as being a malcontent, somebody that wasn't ideal for the locker room and things of this nature. So you decide not to bring him back. It just seems to me that his reputation was hurt by the Dallas Cowboys. And so for me, I love the idea of him getting back into the NFL. I hope he's good enough. I hope he shows what he can do. I hope it's good enough for him to be on an NFL roster, in an NFL lineup, and contributing to an NFL winning team. That's my wish for him, because I would hate that his career ended the way that it did. The last thing we see was him being let go by the Cowboys.
It'd be a feel-good story if he could make it back to the NFL. I agree. I think he's good enough to play. I would assume. I haven't seen him recently, obviously, play. But if he does make it back, it's as just a guy. I hear what you're saying, Stephen A., about unfair treatment. My mind goes to, like, T.O. T.O. could have still played in the league, and he's one of the greatest who ever did it. He was 5-time all-pro, first team, 5 times. He was a great receiver, the best player on the field in a Super Bowl that his team lost, for which he was criticized for playing on one leg, and looked like he could still play into his 40s and couldn't get a job in the league, right? I feel like he was really treated unfairly. Dez Bryant was a top 5 receiver for about 3 years before he started falling off. And so he was excellent at his best, and he didn't have a job when he probably should have, so it'll feel good if he comes back. But it's been a long time since he was an impact player, and it's not like we're talking about one of the all-time greats. I'd feel great for him if he could get back to the league, but I can't pretend that I'm overly interested in the story.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, this is one of those, I'm with Stephen A. and Max. This is more about us wanting something good to happen for Dez Bryant, knowing that he was kind of let go by the Dallas Cowboys when he was on the decline, and also couldn't get a job after that. And then once signing with the Saints, he has the Achilles injury and he's gone. I think those things make you want him to have another opportunity, maybe get an opportunity to close the last chapter on this part of his career or this part of his life. But when you look at what it does for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, I don't really believe it does a lot. I believe it gives them another possession receiver, maybe a guy who can catch some 50-50 balls in traffic, but they need a true number one. They need a guy who can run the entire route tree, someone who can put fear into defenders on outside of the numbers, and also somebody that they can get easy throws and catches for Lamar Jackson, other than Andrews inside as a tight end. Well, we know who the someone like that out there is, and along with the Seattle Seahawks, I don't know if the Baltimore Ravens will be in play for Antonio Brown, but like Max said, like Stephen A. said, we both, or all three of us, would love for Dez Bryant to get this opportunity, for Dez Bryant to play, but I don't think this changes the circumstances of the Baltimore Ravens offense or Baltimore Ravens as a team as it pertains to them being contenders in the AFC.
Okay, all right. Well, from one potential feel-good story to something that was not a feel-good story at all whatsoever. In fact, it was flat-out embarrassing for Daniel Jones last night. Now, other than the infamous butt fumble, of course, while racing 80 yards towards the end zone, Daniel Jones tripped in the open field, going down before any opponent could even touch him. The Giants would go on to score a touchdown on that drive, but it was a moment that drew some laughs as well as, some sympathy. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes tweeted, I can't even say anything because I would never be able to run that far either. All right, garnering a little bit of sympathy. We'll see if we can get some from this guy over here. Max, what did you think of that trip last night?
Daniel Jones, other than Lamar Jackson, has reached more top speeds during runs than any quarterback in the NFL. He's fast. You know what the problem is, RC? I don't think he believed he's as fast as he actually is. He heard number 21 coming and tried to go faster. He didn't need to. RC, he was running fast enough. He had the touchdown. But he heard those steps coming. It was does this one go to 11? Nah, that one stays right at 10, which was fast enough. Man, trust your speed, young Mr. Jones, and you're plenty fast enough.
Bro, in 2 weeks, think about this. In 2 weeks on the same zone reads, though, Daniel Jones has really gotten out on people. And I'm talking about DBs, everybody. Now, he was running like he was over 21 miles per hour. That's the same speed that Lamar Jackson ran last week. Derrick Henry ran against the Houston Texans. So for Daniel Jones, now, this is uncharted territory for a quarterback. And the way that he was moving, there was no way he was going to score. He started tumbling 15 yards before he fell. And whenever you start seeing a quarterback's or a runner's feet start flailing outwards like this, he is in trouble. He didn't believe he could run that fast. He was so excited he was about to score and he didn't want to get caught. My man lost control. But I'm going to give him props for running that fast and being the best rusher on the New York Giants football team.
I'm going to give him props for this.
Wow.
I'm going to give him props for this. We ain't seen a quarterback run like that for the New York Giants in maybe a quarter century.
Ever.
And if not ever. I mean, Phil Simms didn't do it. Jeff Hostetler didn't do it. Eli Manning damn sure didn't do it. I mean, who's the quarterback playing for the New York Giants that ever came close to running like that? So, I mean, we can laugh at him because he tumbled down, but in the end, I'm going to give him props for having that kind of speed. And if I'm Joe Judge, guess what? I'm going to utilize him to scramble out of the pocket a little bit more and run the damn football because obviously in today's day and age, if you can run a little bit, you can be more effective. Here's what's not funny about Daniel Jones. How'd the game end? Strip sack.
Yeah.
This brother, in about 18, 19 games,
holding that ball,
has about 23 times now he's fumbled the football. He cannot hold on to the football to save his life. If you blow in his direction, you could probably get the ball out of his hands.
Man, that's complimenting him to shutting him down.
I didn't think Carson Wentz was better than him yesterday, except when they needed him most. Carson Wentz threw a great pass, and Daniel Jones coughed it up.
All you need to know is that everybody associated with the New York Giants is hoping they lose every game because somebody told them to sever for Trevor, and that would happen to be Max Kellerman. And the bottom line is, it's because you want a different quarterback. You want a different quarterback because clearly he's not the guy. And if you look at Daniel Jones and you see that he's not the guy, the number one reason is because he can't hold on to the damn football.
Yep, because he does a lot of things that you like, but you got to be better. And the Giants' line is a mess. And the kid they drafted at left tackle, who's good, Andrew Thomas, he might be good. Like, it's a skills position, really, the tackle spot. And a lot of times guys aren't good right out of college. So he might wind up being good. But the line's a mess. No Saquon, no dynamism in the passing game. Engram can't catch.
As a defense,
it's a mess.
if you get to him, he's going to cough up the ball at some point.
Well, we know the
it.
NFC East is just a complete and utter mess. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Do you think that this division, any team in it, has a shot at winning even one playoff game?
Actually, yes.
And
if I saw years ago,
What are you talking about, Stephen A?
No, if I saw years ago when New Orleans has a stellar season, but Seattle gets in the postseason with a 7-9 record, but they get to host a home game, that's the problem. Because you know what? No matter how much you stick, it's one game and it's going to be on your home turf, especially if crowds are allowed back at that particular moment in time. Any given Sunday applies. Of course, I wouldn't favor and bet my money on it, but is it possible? Yeah, because the NFL has that stupid rule that allows you not only to be in the postseason, but to have a home field game.
The winner of the NFC East is going to get curb stomped in their first playoff game.
Okay.
So, Stephen A., who will get the one win if you had to pick a team?
First of all, I don't think any of them will win. You're saying, is it possible?
Yeah, right.
Yes, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, anything's possible,
I would tell you the
Cowboys. Eagles.
All right, Ryan, what do you say?
It's the Eagles. If the Eagles get a little healthy with Carson Wentz, if he gets hot, they can beat another team in the playoffs.
I apologize. He's right. I was thinking the Cowboys with Dak. I don't mean with Andy.
No, I think the Cowboys. You know what?
It's the Eagles.
I favor the Cowboys to beat Washington, so they'll have a half-game lead. I'm going to ride the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Just because they don't have a tie.
Max.
All right, guys. Well, you're saying there's a chance. There is still a little bit of hope left for the NFC East. So we will leave you with that, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Clark, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, I'm Charlie.
Cowboys, congratulations in advance.
Thanks for hanging with us. Hope you have a good Friday.
You beat a nameless team.
Have a good one.
Take it easy and enjoy the games this weekend.